Okay, hi, good morning, everyone. Welcome back. Now, this is another tutorial, or you can say the second tutorial on your expansion. It's a continuation of the chapter called expansion. So, we had in the previous tutorial, we discussed about the various type of formulas that we have. The normal formulas, that means the general formulas or the basic formulas that we have in your expansions, that we have the a plus b whole squared formula, the a minus b whole squared, the a plus b whole cube, a minus b whole cube, and these are the formulas. And for some of them, if they get confused with the a and b, I said the same thing can be rewritten as first plus second whole squared, the first minus second whole squared. So those are the different forms. And we had also learned a few sums, or we had done a few sums where we applied the formulas. Okay, now let's talk about this type of sum. So let's say it's given as 4x minus 1 by 4x is equal to 5, and they're saying find this. Okay, now how do we go ahead and solve this kind of question is, now let's say for example, so there are two parts given, part 1 and part 2. Now what we do is we take one part at a time, we take it individually. Now when I'm solving part 1, you can imagine that the part 2 does not even exist. So now when I want to solve this, okay, so what you do is just compare this portion, what is given, that is the x portion, forget about the 5, and what is asked to find. Only focus on these two. So right now this is completely ignored. So right now ignore the 5 also, just focus on the portion where x is there and what is asked to find. Now if you look carefully, which portion is the smaller one? Obviously this is the smaller one. So whichever is the smaller one, or whichever is the smaller part, please write it down. So we are doing number 1. So this is the smaller part, so we write the smaller part as it is over here and we put it inside a bracket. So the first thing is just focus on the 2, that is what is given, the portion, the x, and then what is asked to find. And then whichever is the smaller portion, just write it and put it inside a bracket. And then now if you look closely over here, look at this smaller part and the bigger part over here. What is the highest or the maximum power of x that we have over here and over here? Where do we have the maximum power? Over here we have the maximum power. And what's the highest power? That highest power between the two of them is 2. So that whatever is the power that you put over here, if the power highest power was 5, I would have put a 5. If it was 3, I would put a 3. If it's 4, I'll put a 4. So I see the power is 2, so we put 2. So now this is in which form? This is in the form of first minus second whole square, or a minus b whole square. So this is like in this form, first minus second whole square. The only difference over here is now this is your first, this is your first, and that's your second. So when I apply the formula will be the first square, because this is the first. Okay, so then the formula says plus the second square and then minus 2 into the first into your second. So first thing is what we have to do, we need to go ahead and make sure that we get this. How do we get this? We just check which is the smaller part, whichever is smaller part, we write that, put it inside a bracket, and between the two of them, what's the maximum power, we write that. And then once we do that, 100% this portion will either come in the form of a plus b whole square, or a minus b whole square, or a minus b whole cubed, or a plus b whole cube. So then we apply the formula accordingly. That's the first step. Now second step, if you watch closely, now this 4x minus 1 by 4x is already given to me in the question as a 5. So where do I have the entire portion here? Yes, we see an entire 4x minus 1 by 4. So this entire 4x minus 1 by 4x is already given to me as 5. So this 5 is what we will substitute. So the second step is always substitution. So what do we write? We write, instead of this, we write a 5 and then the square as it is. Okay, so this only 4x minus 4 minus 1 by 4x was given to me in the question as 5. So we substitute 5, and then what do we get? We get 4 squared is equal to 16x squared, because this is meant for both of them. We've already done in the previous tutorial. This is meant for all of them. So 1 square is a 1, and 4 square is again 16x square, and minus over here there are no signs between. If I have anything that can be cancelled, we said we can cancel, so we can just cancel, and then we have a 2. Okay, now if you look closely, the question says find 16x squared plus 1 by 16x, and we already have that. Okay, but there is an extra minus 2 over here, so this minus 2 needs to be brought this side. And then we have 5 square means 5 into 5, that is a 25, and the minus 2 comes, that becomes a plus 2, that is equal to 16x square plus 1 by 16x square. And then we have 27 is equal to 16x square plus 1 by 16x square, and that's my answer. Okay, so if you look closely, 16x squared plus 1 by 16x squared, and that is what has been asked to find. So that is how we solve this kind of a question. Okay, so part 1 is done. Now when we move on to part 2, okay, now forget about part 1, only focus on part 2 now. Now look at what is given and look at what is asked to find. Again, check which is the smaller group. Definitely this is the smaller group, so same logic applies. So what do I write over here? I write the smaller group and I put it inside a bracket, and then between the two of them, like over here, what was the highest power? 2, so we wrote 2. But between this and this, what's the highest power? The highest power is a 3. There are no power over here, so the highest power is 3. So that means we will write a cube, and then this is in the form of the first minus second whole cube. So this is in this form, first minus second whole cube. We'll have to apply this formula. So the formula says first cubed minus the second cubed minus 3 into the first into your second bracket the first minus second. Again the same way, so we write that, we apply the formula. So once we write the formula, just like over here also we wrote the formula, next step what did we do? We did a substitution. So same thing over here also, we'll have to do a substitution. So now what's the substitution? So this is the same question, but it's just part 2, so same question, 4x minus 1 by 4x. So wherever I see 4x minus 1 by 4x, I'll have to put 5. So in a cube, okay, if you want to remember, then it's always a 2 substitution. In a square, there'll be only 1 substitution, okay, because there is only 4x minus 1 by 4x written over here. No 4x minus, we had 4x, but there was no minus in between, so substitution was only once over here. But in your cube, you'll have 2 substitutions, and where will the 2 substitutions be? 1 right at the beginning and 1 right at the end. So at the 2 extreme ends, we will have substitution, because we see 4x minus 1 by 4x here also, we see 4x minus 1 by 4x here also. So in place of this, what will you write? You'll write a 5, and then there is a cube, and then over here this is for both of them. 4 cubed, everyone should know it's a 64. X cubed minus 1 cubed is still a 1. 4 cubed is again 64. X cubed is this, and over here we can do the cancellation, so we are left with 3. But over here we will not open the bracket, because we already have a substitution as 4x minus 1 by 4. What was it? It was a 5, and over here the power was 3, so we put a power 3. Over here there is no power, so we do not write any power. So 5 cubed is 5 into 5 into 5, that is 125. This is 64x cubed minus 1 by 64x cubed minus 5 3s are 15. The question says find 64x cubed minus 1 by 64x cubed over here. So now if I want to find this, so I'll have to move the 15 that side, the 15 will come this side. So we get 125 plus 15, that is 64x cubed minus 1 by 64x cubed. And then what do we get? We get 140 is equal to 64x cubed minus 1 by 64x cubed. So that's how we solve these type of questions, where something is given to us, and then there are 2 parts of the question, where first one they say something in terms of square, they'll ask me to find. Over here they'll ask me something in terms of cube. So first we'll apply the square formula, here we'll apply the cube formula. So you need to be thorough with your formulas. Now if you're not thorough with your formulas, it becomes a little bit difficult. Okay, so then now let's do a similar type of another question. Okay, so let's say this is the question that has been given. It's similar but not exactly the same. Okay, so this is what has been given to us there, but over here now instead of 1 means one thing that is given. So like over here there was only that means 4x minus 1 by 4x was given as 5, but over here there are 2 things that are given. 2x minus 3y is equal to 5, plus there is saying xy is equal to 2, and then they're saying find this. So over here also, like in the previous sum, we'll apply the same logic. Okay, so we first ignore this for the time being, we only focus on this part of the question, and then what is asked to find, we focus on these 2. Now between these 2, which is the smaller group? Definitely this is the smaller group, so we write the smaller group and then put it inside a bracket. And between this group and this group, what's the highest power? 3, so we put 3. Again, this is in the form of a minus b whole cube formula. So this is like a first cube minus the second cube minus 3 into the first into the second bracket the first minus second. And just now, since we have applied a cube formula, just now we said whenever we have a cube, we will have 2 substitutions, like 1 substitution here and 1 substitution here at the 2 extreme ends. So same thing over here also, we have 2 substitutions, 1 at this way, 1 right at the beginning and 1 right at the end. So what is this given as? 3 cubed. And what is this? This will be what? 8x cubed minus, this will be a 27y cubed minus these. How do I multiply? No cancellations. 3 to the 6, 6 3 is as 18xy, and this over here is now again here 3. We have one substitution over here, one substitution over here, no power, so no power. Over here the power is 3, we put a power 3. So this becomes 3 cubed is 27, 8x cubed minus 27y cubed minus 18. But over here we have one extra thing. What is that? Now xy is also already given to us in the question as a 2. So now we need to replace the xy also as a 2. So over here I see xy, no sign in between means it's a multiplied. So instead of xy I'll put a 2, and then we have a 3. So over here in total we'll have 3 substitutions. We have one substitution over here, one substitution over here. Then at and next step we'll have to make one more substitution for your xy. So then it becomes 27 is 8x cubed minus 27y cubed minus 8 into 6, and then I get 27 is equals to 8x cubed minus 27y cubed minus, what do I get? 6 is a 48, and I get 108. So this 108 will come this side. I get 27 plus 108 is equals to 8x cubed minus 27y cubed. If I add them, I'll get 5. I get 135 is equals to 8x cubed minus 27y cubed. Now if you look carefully, okay, 8x cubed minus 27y cubed is what is asked to find in the question, and we already found that answer to be as 135. So this is how we solve these type of sums. So this is a little bit you can say extra variety of questions that we have under expansion, and now we are doing just the basic ones. Okay, so we are not doing that complicated ones right now. We are just starting with the basics ones. So these are the two different variety of questions that you could expect in your expansions also. Okay, so that's it for the time being. Thank you.